You have only one choice: solo, duo, trio, or squad. You must survive 30 days in places where no one leaves the same. Choose wrong, and you won't survive. There is no exit, no help, no rescue until day 30. Food is limited. Every mistake is fatal. Every night is worse than the last. And in every place, someone is waiting for you. But here's what no one says out loud. Sometimes the place starts answering back. Solo abandoned library. You are completely alone inside an empty library. Every day is a struggle, not only with hunger and fatigue, but with the shadow that knows your thoughts before you do. In the first few days, you find some food in old vending machines and forgotten cabinets, dried bars, canned soup, a little water. These supplies will last 5-7 days if you ration carefully. The shadow does not attack directly. It waits silently, patient, observing your every movement. Every sound, the creak of a floorboard, a page turning makes your heart race. You start noticing the books that describe you, like a diary written by some other mind, and realize every decision could vanish with a flipped page. By days 10-15, your supplies are almost gone. You must ration, eat tiny pieces, sip water slowly, save the majority for evening or morning. At night, the books whisper your name. Pages move by themselves. One wrong move, and the shadow drifts closer. You learn to move slowly, to hold your breath when passing open tomes. By days 20-25, you begin to understand the rules. The shadow does not hurry, it tests patience. You learn to use sound, darkness, and your attention as weapons. Pages vanish right before your eyes, but you keep moving. By day 30, your last scraps of food, tiny bars, and a sip of water remain while the shadow lingers nearby. Survive, and you remain human. Fail, and you become one of the words in the library, trapped forever on a page. Duo, dark, abandoned cinema. You are not alone. One other person is with you inside an abandoned movie theater. The screen flickers to life on its own. First, it shows the empty hall. Then it shows you, but not now, minutes into the future. You see events before they happen. In the first days, you find food in the old concession stand, popcorn, cookies, a few sodas. Supplies last 4-6 days if divided equally. Eat slowly, carefully, and always watch each other. Any argument or panic can attract the headless entity. By days 7-10, the screen shows what you must avoid. If someone fails to watch, the entity smiles and draws closer. You move quietly through the aisles, pausing only to check the screen. By days 15-20, your food is nearly gone. You ration carefully, a crumb of cookie each, a tiny sip of soda. Conversations become whispers, movements deliberate. Every step feels the entity's presence. By days 25-28, supplies are almost gone, and fear becomes constant. You alternate watching the screen and searching for food, checking the concession stand and machines every day. Every noise, every shadow can be deadly. By day 30, your last bites and sips remain. Survive, and the story continues. Fail, and the screen shows you forever, trapped as part of the film. Trio abandoned subway station. 3 of you stand in an empty subway station. The trains are gone, but something still arrives. Something breathes deep in the tunnels. Something that watches. Something that waits. In the beginning, It feels distant, almost unreal, a draft of cold air, a shadow stretching in the corner, the faint echo of footsteps that aren't yours. On the first day, you find a small stash of food in old kiosks and service rooms, cans of beans and soup, half-eaten sandwiches, bottles of water. Not much, but enough to last 3-5 days if divided carefully. You learn quickly that rushing will draw attention, that clattering cans or a misstep could wake whatever lurks in the tunnels. By days 3-6, tension grows. Every sound is magnified. Dripping water, distant echoes, the squeak of your boots against the platform tiles. You learn to communicate with gestures, whispers only, your voices so low that even you fear they might be heard. The entity is always present, always sensing. It does not hunt one person, it hunts groups. Stick together, and it notices every movement, every heartbeat. Split up, and it will choose the slowest, the weakest, the one who falters. By days 7-15, your supplies dwindle. You ration every bite. A small sandwich is cut into thirds. Water is sipped, drop by drop. Footsteps in the tunnels grow louder, closer, echoing with a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. Fear becomes physical. Muscles tighten, your stomach knots, your skin crawls. You start noticing shapes in the darkness, dozens of eyes reflecting your flashlight beams, moving in patterns that don't make sense. Sleep becomes impossible. You sleep in shifts, each of you taking turns, alert for even the slightest hint of movement. One wrong move, one careless step, and the creature will notice. By days 16-20, hunger and exhaustion weigh heavily. You feel your minds fraying. Arguments flare up. Panic threatens to break the fragile unity you've built. The entity senses that. It waits for it. You are forced to move in perfect synchronization, checking corners, sharing watches, covering each other's backs. Every echo, every distant bang could be it coming closer. Every shadow could be eyes watching from the darkness. By days 21-25, your rations are almost gone. Every morsel of food is precious, every sip of water sacred. You can feel the creature in the air, the metallic tang of fear, the faint hiss of breath that isn't yours. It begins to play with your mind. One of you sees movement that disappears when you turn. One hears whispers of names that aren't yours. One sees shapes crawling just outside the light. The tunnels themselves seem to shift, endless, looping back on themselves. By days 26-30, your last supplies are gone. You are bone-tired, eyes bloodshot, fingers trembling. The creature could appear from any tunnel at any moment. You move together, shadows in the shadows, listening to every heartbeat. Survive, and you remain human, scarred and haunted. Fail, and you become one of the twisted figures in the tunnels, merging into the darkness, a permanent watcher of the next group that arrives. The subway is alive. It waits, and it never forgets. Squad abandoned stadium. 4 of you stand inside an empty stadium at night. The stands are not empty, they are waiting. Silence is heavy, oppressive. Applause echoes when no one is clapping. Whispers drift through the air, carrying secrets that you don't want to hear. In the first hours, it is almost intoxicating, the thrill, the fear, the cold wind sweeping through the seats. On the first day, you search beneath the stands, in staff rooms, storage areas. You find canned goods, dry snacks, bottles of water. Supplies are minimal, enough to last 2-4 days if carefully rationed. You learn immediately, panic will kill you faster than hunger. Move slowly. Stay in line of sight of each other. Speak only when necessary. Every sound, every movement is magnified in the cavernous arena. By days 3-7, the stadium begins to feel alive. The entity moves subtly, a massive figure made from hundreds of human faces stretched under one skin. It sees all of you at once, but it chooses one at a time. You feel its gaze, even when you cannot see it. Tiny noises, shuffling feet, a whisper, the scrape of a can send a jolt of terror through your body. You begin rationing. Small bites, sips of water, conserving your strength, conserving your life. By days 8-15, fear is constant. The stadium seems to pulse with intention. Applause echoes through the stands. Shadows stretch unnaturally. Every slow step, every hesitation is noted. You learn to move in perfect synchronization, keeping your group close, silent, aware. Sleep is in shifts. Each of you is a sentinel for the others. One false move, and the entity notices. By days 16-20, hunger gnaws at your minds. Exhaustion dulls your senses. The faces in the figure seem to whisper, judging, taunting. You develop strategies, when to move, when to eat, how to communicate without sound. Every corner is dangerous, every shadow suspicious. The stadium has a memory. It remembers every delay, every stumble. By days 21-25, your last scraps of food are gone. You survive on small sips of water, adrenaline, sheer will. The entity grows bolder. One of you slows slightly. It steps closer, the hundreds of faces shifting, smiling. You move as one, each aware of the other's position, every breath calculated. Fear becomes tangible, a living thing pressing against your skin. By days 26-30, there is nothing left but endurance and terror. Every clap, every whisper, every movement of the stands is amplified in your mind. Survive, and you will emerge, forever changed, haunted by the echoes and faces of the stadium. Fail, and you become part of it, lost among hundreds of staring faces, screaming silently as the next group arrives. The stadium watches. The stadium waits. And it never forgets. Where would you die fastest? Alone, with a shadow reading your every thought. With a partner, when the screen shows the future. In a group of 3, hunted by something that senses groups. Or in a squad, where hundreds of eyes watch every move. The choice seems simple, until you realize something is waiting in every place. Write in the comments, solo, duo, trio, or squad, where would you try to survive? And who would you go with? But remember this truth, no one ever left these places. They did not die, they stayed. They became part of the locations. And now they are waiting for you, watching. Always.